running in my lungs tonight. Snow's like glitter in my old headlight. Old iron purring, tried and true, one pole on the road, and she starts like new. Old sled in a frozen shed, grease stained hands, things my old man said. Trail turns hard through the timberline, thick blue smoke in the cold moonlight. No screens flashing, no computer glow, just me and a motor and a track below. The feel of the ground, every bump beneath, the way it's supposed to be on this old beast. Old drifters lined up proud and few, every day has a story, something might be true. Get me off of this old school ride, just me and my sled and American pride. Old iron still runs strong in the cold, in the snow, don't trail too long. Ski-Doo, Polaris, Arctic Cat, Yamaha, built to last. Hey! Old iron, hold the line, sentimental, made of metal from a simple time.
Hi, Ben Shields here. I'm with the Old Drifters Vintage Snowmobile Club, and I appreciate you coming out today for the show. It really means a lot for us, you being out here and doing this stuff, especially with the history you got with snowmobiles and racing and everything else. So
glad I was invited.
Yep. And what was your name?
Jim Saul.
Jim Saul. Okay.
Flying farmer from Harbor Creek.
The Flying Farmer. Nice. From where about?
Harbor Creek was where I was originally from.
So that's down near Erie, correct?
Yeah, it's just outside.
Okay.
Right close to the line, Pennsylvania line.
So you're close by.
Yes.
You're a neighbor.
I'm 1 hour away.
Neighbor to the south.
Right.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about your what got you into snowmobiling back in the beginning, anyway? Like, where did this all start with you?
I did some work with a motorcycle shop, Coos Motorcycle Shop, and he got snow jets in, and the snow jets, I rode with him one time down here to Buffalo, the distributor, to get a load of snowmobiles, and we started running around on a snow jet. And then when Billy Dean became the distributor, he came up with a 3-cylinder, 644 snow jet.
Big boy.
And they wanted me to run that at Orchard Park, just outside of Buffalo. So I went down there, and he brought the sled down, told me, there it is, go get them. So I went out and started the sled, learned how to ride it. I don't think I'd been on a sled very much. I might have been in the backyard. He had some skedaddlers and different things, moto ski at one time.
Okay.
And the snow jet seemed to hit me right. I went to run the race, and somehow I dumped it halfway through the race, and everybody passed me, and I grabbed the sled, picked it back up, got on it again, and got ahead of everybody, caught everybody, and won the race. So that would have been almost my first race. And
what year are we talking?
That was probably 69,
okay.
68 or 69. And I hadn't really been on a sled very much. I raced motorcycles. I raced TT track, in Erie and different places, short track, and I ran 2 or 3 bikes at one time, and I ran motocross. And when that came out, I had the first 650 that ran.
Oh boy!
In motocross, heavy bike.
So you're familiar with the 600?
That
then?
was heavy, yeah.
Okay.
So I ran that for a while, and I was loading a load of grapes. I'd taken a load of grapes to Welch's one afternoon, and the owner of Burley Company, Homer Casgrain, and Bob Best came in, got me in the truck, and I said, would you ride a Polaris for me if we got the dealership? And I said, yeah, I would do that. So they got me a couple for Run-A-Muck. Eastman sent 2 racers down. I think they were playmates at the time, real narrow tracks.
Okay.
A lot of power, good clutches, everything worked good. I mean, they just, like doing a wheelie a whole way. We did the run amok drags with that, and then when we got out of drags, we started running sleds. So I started with I believe a 650. They sent me a 650, and the guy that went with me, Dick Kennedy, he had one. Somehow he bought one, and he had the pipes chromed and everything on it. I borrowed that, and he borrowed mine to do drag races. I didn't care to do drag races, and I started winning so much that he wanted to sell me the sled. So I said, I don't want to pay you. So I'll buy the sled back. So I bought his sled, and I got that one going. I had a 295 that I ran in the Class 1 modified. I had a 340 that I ran in the 340 class. I had a 650 that I ran in the Class 4, and an open sled. Class 5 was an 800 Polaris. They were all Polarises.
Okay.
And I started doing well. We went to Monticello the first week, and I took my grandmother's car. I made a homemade trailer to get 4 sleds on it. So we went to Monticello.
Oh my gosh.
Went down there, and I won 3 firsts and a second. The second was the pipe fell off of my big sled, so I couldn't. I didn't have power on the last one to win that one, but we did well there. And then we just kind of
still ran it without the pipe.
We put the pipe back on and got it on there, and we started following the circuit, the USSA circuit.
Okay.
With the sleds that I had accumulated almost twice as many points as any other driver in the East,
wow.
which gave me the #1 bib in 71 or 72.
Okay.
Because I had so many points, and I did win the USSA trophy of the year. And we went to different races every weekend. We went someplace. Weedsport, Mercer, Meadville. Didn't go way out west. We did Ohio. We did quite a few races in Ohio. Whenever they had one, we went to Ohio and ran a race. I remember coming home from Monticello, that my grandmother's car I borrowed, put the trailer on it. We didn't have any lights all the way home. We were running with flashlights out the window. So I said, I made enough money that weekend. I guess I made a couple $1,000s that weekend. I went home, bought a brand new car for my grandmother.
Nice.
And we used that from then on.
Yeah.
And then I went to a truck, and we did different
So
things.
you bought your grandma a new car and
I
still borrowed your grandma's car.
Yeah, so I didn't have to borrow her car, and I wanted something safe for,
there you go.
For her to
Nice.
ride. And that sort of started everything. And one of the bigger races that we went to was Boonville. I raced against the factories, all the factories, and I had I think I started the deal with studs. I had motorcycle tires that I had with bolts through them. They were just a 3/8 bolt with a nut on it, and you cut it off at an angle. So I got the idea to do that to my track. So I did that to my track. Nobody could keep up with me at Boonville. So I beat all the factories at Boonville, and won Boonville and won that trophy that you have over there. That was the Eastern Adirondack Cup, I guess, and I think there's maybe 7. At one time, there was only 6 of us that had won that, and but I suppose there's more now. But
and so they'd never been. Studding wasn't like a big thing
nobody knew what studs were.
Really,
we only knew it because we had them on motorcycles. We took an old tire, put a bolt through it, put a nut on the inside, put a liner in it, and ran that on ice, and you could lay the motorcycle right down, almost touch the handlebar.
Yep.
Well, after that, we had a couple guys that worked at GE, and they started spitting these things out. They were the newer type, sharp and small, and then Woody's come out with them, and everybody had studs.
It took right off.
And carbides, and you had to use carbides. The first year when I went to Boonville, we didn't know anything about carbides, so I took a 3/4 file and sharpened it, and put it on the ski, so I could steer. Sure. And with that steering and with the studs, I accomplished what I had to do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Beat all the factories.
So what year do you think that was when you studied that?
71 or 72.
So what you're saying is prior to 71 or 72, when people would reference studs on a snowmobile, they were talking about the drivers.
They were, right. No, I'm not talking about that.
So that's really cool. That's an amazing history, because those revolutionized how people ride snowmobiles, especially.
They've gone so far now in motor parts and suspensions. And we had no suspension then.
Yep.
We just ran. We had maybe 3 inches of travel.
Yep.
Now
Yep.
they've got 14, 15 inches front
Yeah.
and
You can drive over logs.
And I've never been on a new one. Well, I guess I was in 2004. I got off in 2006.
Okay.
In 2004, I couldn't find anybody that would remember they putting Polaris on the map. So I called Tony Jansen from Jansen Automotive, and I said, Tony, his dad had me ride sleds in Erie. Every one of his guys that had a snow jet brought their sled up to me and says, run mine, run mine.
Yeah.
Well, I run about 6 of them and won all the classes.
No kidding.
And when it came time to go and I wanted to go to a cross-country race, I called Tony Jensen. I said, Tony, go sell me his sled. I said, would you sell me something? I want to go run across country up Flat Rock. And of course I didn't. I had a shaved before I went up to Flat Rock. People don't recognize me without the beard. I had a beard at the time.
Okay.
And Tony gave me the sled. I went down, loaded it up, took it off to Flat Rock. It was a cross country, some big whoop-de-doos, big holes. And I beat everybody by 1.5 miles.
Wow.
And I had no beard, so nobody knew who I was.
Right.
But they were whispering, who is that?
Who's that guy?
And a couple of guys were from Erie, and they said, I know who that is.
Yeah.
So they gave it away, and I did well up there. So
Yeah.
And then I got on the Rock Maple circuit, ran that for 2 or 3 years. And in 2006, I kind of quit. I got tired of it, and family, and
Sure.
a lot of running around, a lot of work.
Accomplished everything you wanted to, I guess,
So
at that point.
Yeah, I just let it go. Now I've just got a bunch of sleds in the barn. I've got maybe 19 sleds. Most of them are Polaris. I've got Arctic Cat, and got Ski Rule, but
So I think
just hanging around with sleds.
I think what I'm also curious about, how'd you get the nickname the Flying Farmer?
Flying Farmer. I was running over at. We had a race in Corey, and the first race that we raced over there was on a track that the kids ran on, but they did have banks on the side of the track. Somebody got in front of me, and I was going to pass them. I went right up the bank, around them, and dropped right down in front of them. They thought I was flying.
Really?
So
Because
they
you're that
called
high
me
up?
Flying Farmer.
No kidding. All right.
That's how it originated.
Well, see, I would have thought it was something where you got bucked off,
Everybody
or
thinks it's something to do with airplanes, and it's not nothing to do with
Well,
it.
see, I would have thought you got ejected off the sled or something along those lines.
No.
My uncle used to race Yamahas back in the day. My grandfather used to sell Yamaha and Skidoo, and back in the late 60s, early 70s, and my uncle raced Gary Pounds from over in Bolivar, New York, would run the Yamahas, and he was telling me a story once about they were just going hardcore, just super fast, and they were right close to each other, and something happened where, like, I think a guy rear-ended another sled, and then it shot the guy off the sled, and he landed on the sled behind them, like they were all in a pack, and he was like riding the hood.
Wow.
Naturally, he fell off. It wasn't like a cartoon, but like the guy went over the back of him. He just came. That's how fast those sleds were moving back then. And they're, and you say you haven't ridden a modern sled, but or at least too many times. But
the one I got from Tony was the independent suspension.
Okay,
so
all right.
That was the first Indy in 2004, independent front end. And I mean, when I went across the field, I could go across it 100 mile an hour and not even feel a bump.
Yep, they're amazing. And in these newer ones with these bigger suspensions, they sit up so high. They're really kind of odd feeling when you get off of a vintage sled as opposed to getting on it. They're completely different machines. So like people don't realize, and a lot of people that ride modern sleds that haven't ridden old iron, they don't understand like how low and compact those machines are. Like it's the difference between riding pony and riding a Clydesdale.
That's right.
And when going at those speeds, 100 miles an hour feels like 150. When you ride these new modern machines, you can go 100 miles an hour and not even know it.
Right.
Like you can have a 12-year-old could do 100 miles an hour on a sled and not even realize it. So those machines, like they were working, you were working, and there were the trees looked like picket fences.
With belts one year.
Sure.
Belts were breaking, and I ran Marionville, and I remember one race I was ahead. I broke a belt. I jumped off the sled. I had a belt around my neck. An extra one because I was figuring something happened. I got off, pulled the old belt off, put the new belt on, and still won the race.
Really?
But and I had the highest speed down there. We run 95 mile an hour going into turn one with the 800s,
okay,
650s. I had 652.
Yep.
So we had good times.
Yep.
And we raced in good times. So
Yep.
it wasn't as tough as it is today. Today's guys are really in good shape. And,
Yeah. Very scientific too. Well, not that there wasn't a lot of science back then, but there's a lot more science available, I guess, nowadays.
More suspension. And
it's
like driving, like you say, a horse versus.
Yeah. The technology is just incredible, what they've come up with, but I think each one's got its own charm too. I think, obviously there's a little sentimentality that goes along with old snowmobiles. I mean, I remember my grandpa and my uncle having them, and, my first vintage sled was a 69 Skidoo Nordic.
Yeah.
And, I had, at the same time, I had gotten a 74 Snowblazer with a single ski with the narrow track.
Right.
Most useless machine I've ever seen in my life. Couldn't make it would move, but you couldn't. It wouldn't move with you on it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think, remembering those things and the importance of those sleds is one part of it. But I think that the differences in the two sleds, I compare it to riding my I got a Yamaha 433 that I like to take out in deep snow, and it's like riding a jet ski. It really is. I mean, you get through that deep snow and that powder, where these newer sleds, these heavier sleds, you float
more than,
and you're doing the work.
Yeah.
The sled's not, and I think that's a big difference between these machines. So it's super cool.
From his
oh, she's all right.
Right through
I got an edit button. We're fine. We're fine. Here, you want to pose for a picture? Here.
I appreciate it.
How's that? No, I appreciate you being here, and it means a lot, seriously, to the club. And as a relatively young guy in the old drifters, like I can't tell you how much I appreciate talking to veteran riders like you and veteran guys in the sport that have been around since the beginning, because I can't tell you how much I wish I could go back in time and talk to my grandpa and talk to my uncle and ask them the questions. And I remember when I bought my 433, and it's got the high-low range on it, and I didn't know anything about it. I mean, we had a 292 and a 246 growing up, but it didn't, those were just, regular narrow track snowmobiles. With this wide track, I had told my uncle that I bought it, and I'm on the phone with him. He's like, "Oh yeah, you got the high-low range on that." I'm like, "What?
What's
that? Like a tractor?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Pop the hood on it," and he showed me where the little lever with the ball on it was, and he goes, "Make sure you do this," and gave me all those pointers and stuff. And I'm going to tell you right now, you can't find that on the internet.
No.
There's nothing. There's just
experience.
So as modern as we think we are, and as futuristic and as smart as we all think we are, without guys like you coming out here and sharing with people like me, like that information doesn't go forward, and I can't thank you enough for that. So, and on behalf of the Old Drifters Vintage Club, it means a lot for you coming out here. I hope you had a good time. Did you get around and see some of the sleds?
Yeah. It was a nice show.
Awesome.
We appreciate
You be around tomorrow, or
I'll be here tomorrow. Probably.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we'll talk to you tomorrow, and I appreciate it. And
right.
You be safe and have what's left of a wonderful evening.
You too.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Through a 4-foot drift, Arctic cap prowling with a stubborn grit. Ski-Doo yellow in the soft moonlight, scorpion sting in the air tonight. Yamaha speed steady and true, rust on the skis but our hearts like new. Vintage iron, North American cold, the memories alone worth more than gold. Old iron still runs true. Two-stroke smoke, red, white.